طيب, so Bismillah, let us talk about the issue of daughters. And I'm even gonna record this. So again, the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, Aisha radiallahu anha narrates that a woman came to me with her daughters and she asked for charity. Aisha only had a date. She split it and the woman gave to the two daughters. She didn't eat any of it. Okay? So Aisha radiallahu anha was surprised by this. Like, isn't she hungry? So the Prophet ﷺ said that whoever is tested with daughters and treats them well, there will be a shield for them against the hellfire, right? So why is it daughters? Why is daughters so much more difficult in raising than men? Why is this reward? And why did the Prophet ﷺ specifically said, daughters? So we see a few hadith on this mention. One is recorded by Ahmed and it's authentic by Al-Hakim and it's great Hassan. And basically the Prophet ﷺ said, it's narrated by Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anh, if anyone has a female child that does not bear her alive or slight her or prefer his male children to her, Allah will bring him into paradise. Okay, that's the first hadith. The second hadith is whoever has three daughters. This is Ja'bir ibn Abdullah radiallahu anh narrates, whoever has three daughters and he accommodates them, shows mercy towards them, supports them, paradise is definitely guaranteed for him. This is what the Prophet ﷺ said. Thus someone asked the Prophet ﷺ, what if I have two daughters? He replied, he gets that reward even if there are only two. Some of those present believe that the Prophet ﷺ, had it be asked about one daughter, he would have answered the same. And this is a hadith that is authenticated by Shaykh Al-Albani. We just talked about this hadith of the two daughters, right? That's the third hadith. And this is narrated by Muslim. Okay, whoever is tested with these children and he's benevolent towards them, they will become a protection for him against hellfire. The fourth hadith is by Uqba ibn Amir, narrated. He says, I heard the Prophet ﷺ say, whoever has three daughters and is patient toward them, feeds them, gives them to drink, and clothes them from his wealth, there will be a shield for him from the fire on the day of resurrection. Again, authenticated by Al-Albani. And the fifth hadith is by Anas radiallahu anh. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whoever supports two girls till they attain maturity, he and I will come on the day of resurrection close to each other like this, and he joined his fingers. Kind of like the hadith of Ana wa kafilul yatim kahakadha fil jannah. Okay? And this hadith is narrated by Muslim. So, 5 amazing hadith on raising girls specifically. Of course, what about boys? What if you raise boys? Yeah, of course, inshallah, you get rewarded and you get Jannah. But the Prophet ﷺ highlighted specifically girls. Why? Because it is so much more difficult. Now, men, I need you to, if you're listening, to understand what we mean by this. See, a guy can get away with a lot in this dunya. Yes, we have a lot of responsibility on our shoulders. We have a lot of, people, like we could go to hellfire so easily, because we're out and about, we're in the front, we're in the forefront, we're the ones who have to push and shove and do and this and that. So we have a lot more chances to mess up. And for the women though, the thing is that the women carry the traces of problems. If anything happens, the guy doesn't get pregnant. He can just peace out. He's out. The woman gets pregnant. The woman gets more psychologically scarred sometimes. The woman has the period. The woman has to bear the pregnancy. The woman has to deliver the pregnancy. The woman has to stay in the house, cannot just move around whenever she feels like, or however she feels like it. She has to observe hijab, which is not easy for us. We dress, kind of whatever. As long as we protect ourselves, even we have to, of course, wear proper clothes. But the woman has to it's hot, hijab, this. It's tough, man. It's tough. The woman has so many emotions. The guy is more rational. The guy is more straightforward. It is what the psychology of men is more straightforward. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ compared the woman to the bent rib. A lot of women take offense to this. It is an amazing psychological comparison analysis. Because if you understand the whole hadith and you put it in context with the other hadith, where the Prophet ﷺ said something like, be careful with the glass. So sensitive. Be careful. Women only see, oh, he called this glass, he called this bent rib. They don't understand that the Prophet said, be careful, meaning admonishing and telling people take care to behave properly. The bent rib, okay, if you straighten it too much, it will break. If you leave it the way it is, it will stay crooked. They'll keep thinking about the crookedness and oh, it's an insult and this and that. Understand the meaning. The rib that she was created from is here, close to the heart of the man. It signifies protection. And yes, also the fact that a woman is in a certain way. You try to push her too much, to change her, and this and that. It's not that easy. So it also teaches men to have patience with women. Does that mean that we become a doormat for women? No. But it teaches men to have patience with women, to understand their psychology, to understand what does it mean when she's, menstruating for 5 to 7 days. And the hormonal changes, to understand what it means for her that she needs emotional connection. Where a lot of men don't understand that is needed. That the Prophet would provide that. Some men will be like, oh, what is this sim talk? What is this, this talk and that? Yahi, our standard as men is not the red pill movement. It is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is the Quran and the Sunnah. So if you prove to me that from the Quran and Sunnah, the Prophet didn't give a nothing about, the well-being of women, then I might agree with you. But I'll prove it to you in a second that he did. Surah Nisa, the rules, the protection of women, children, orphans, the ahadith, numerous ahadith, and right now I just quoted 5. So again, men also have to understand a little bit, okay, how it works. Yes, there's extremes. Yes, there's the feminist movement. Yes, men are being smashed by women these days. But at the same time, men have to be fair and understand what does Islam say about this. So as a father of 3 daughters, I understand. And I pray, and when I see this hadith, I rejoice. It's a big responsibility. No man, real man, will ever allow his daughters to go astray. These days, I grew up in the West, and I dated, when I was not a Muslim. And I would go to my girlfriend's house, and the father don't care that I'm sitting on the couch with his girlfriend, with his daughter. Don't care that it's 11 or 12 at night. Don't care if this or that. What kind of man is that? This is the brainwashing that has been happened to fathers and men. Where's your jealousy? Where's your protection? And then another day, another guy can come. And then she have another boyfriend. And how many boyfriends she has by the age of 20. And the father just, okay, honey, have fun. Let me drive you to the movies. Let me drive you to this. A'udhu billah. Where is this protection? And then they complain, oh, she was raped, or she was this, or this would happen. Women get scarred so easy. It's so easy for them to suffer and have trauma. So that's why it's our responsibility. That's what we're called wali. We are a wali, a protector, a caretaker. It's a huge responsibility on us towards our daughters, our wives, our mothers. And if we don't do our job properly, we're hugely responsible. Not just that, the society is corrupted. That's why this reward is so great in those formative stages. When the woman develops, so she can develop healthy. So then when she gets to marry someone, she's received that manly love, masculine love from her father. And now it transforms into a different love towards her husband. But she's aware and literate, emotionally literate of that love. So now she can function as a proper wife without having all these dramas and what happened from before in the past that will affect her relationship. Meaning she can be a good wife, a good mother, raise a proper family, and the cycle continues, a healthy cycle, as opposed to a destructive, negative cycle that affects in the end society, right? Because the family is the building block of society. So that is why these 5 hadith are so specific towards girls and protection of girls. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us be among those who will receive this reward and, get the blessings. The Prophet ﷺ was the protector of these girls because the Quraysh used to bury them alive, and he came, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to save them. And then women have the guts to say that Islam is against women and mistreating women, and guys are taking the, whatever. May Allah protect. Ameen.